So what is Risk of Rain 2? Well, Possibility of Wet Weather 2 is a third-person roguelike shooter where a player progresses through stages to meet a boss in the end and kick his ass. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to thank the sponsor of this video, absolutely no one. But still, please like and subscribe before you go, maybe hit that bell icon. But now, what do you do in Chance of Precipitation? You, and maybe some friends if you have any, pick a survivor to play as, pick a difficulty, pick artifacts if you want, we'll get back to them, and jump into the game. Then you spawn into a stage and go around killing anything that moves, gathering wealth and spending said wealth on chests that give you items. All the while you scour the stage for a teleporter that will take you to the next stage. Once you've found the teleporter and you've gathered as many items as you want, you activate it, summoning a boss and starting the teleporter charging, and beginning a great increase in the rate that enemies spawn as well. Once the teleporter's charged and the boss is dead, you hop through the teleporter onto the next stage where you repeat the loop of killing things, getting stuff, and finding the teleporter. As you play, the game slowly gets harder and harder, making more enemies spawn that deal more and more damage, and each time you go through a teleporter the difficulty increases by a chunk as well. Eventually you'll go through enough stages to meet the final boss, Mithrix. Now who are these survivors that we can play as? Well, there's 10 of them to pick from and they're all cool, unique, special snowflakes, and they all have different uses and abilities that you may prefer over others. Firstly, there's Acrid, a lizard dog puppy thing that spits acid and lumbers about. Then there's Artificer, who's a magical woman who has like spells and stuff, also she has an egg for a head. Captain, who looks like Jotaro Kujo if he had a shotgun arm. Commando, who has 2 automatic pistols and is kinda the generic shooter character. Engineer, no not that one, but this one does also have turrets. Oh, and balls. Huntress, who is the female sci-fi Legolas of the group, and she's a fan favourite because, Loader, the forklift certified personification of y'all gonna get these hands. Mercenary, who is a bit Multi, the best boy robot who uses a nail gun and a nail gun. He gets 2 uses of equipments as well. And finally, Rex. Don't play as Rex. Now what are those items that I mentioned earlier? Well, items are the things that you grab from crates throughout the game. They fall into 2 categories, passive and active. The passive items are the most common you will find and will come in different tiers and different usefulness within said tiers. They, as the name would suggest, provide passive buffs like an increase in attack speed. The active items, aka equipment, give you an ability that you can use with the press of a button, typically bound to Q. Oh wow, there's another Overwatch similarity there. There's also special passive items and equipments that fall into the Luna category. These are items that you must spend Luna coins, a resource that you pick up from fallen enemies sometimes, and some other more weird stuff. These will provide a buff, but also provide a small debuff as well, making it a difficult decision whether to pick up Luna items or not. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the items, there's too many and that would take way too long, but there are a few items that work well on any survivor, and I'll go through them here. Soldier Syringe increases attack speed, it's obvious why that's useful and it's best on Commando and Multi. Tougher Times, a little teddy bear that gives you a chance to ignore damage. Lens Maker's Glasses, which provide a chance to get a critical hit, stacking 10 of these guarantees said critical hit. Fuel Cell, which gives your equipment more charges and increases the rate that you can use your equipment. Leeching Seed, hitting things will heal you. Ukulele, harness the power of Israel Kamakavivo Ole to shock enemies. The Brilliant Behemoth, which gives you explosive attacks. Dio's Best Friend, resurrect once per stack. Brittle Crown, a lunar item that provides money when you hit things, but also you'll lose money when you get hit. Shaped Glass, which causes you to deal double damage per stack, but also halves your health. Use with caution. Then there's really only 2 very useful equipments in my opinion. The Prion Accumulator, which fires a big ball of energy that deals damage to things as it flies and explodes massively on impact. And the Royal Capacitor, which typically picking up items is random luck of the draw affair, but in all these clips I was using the Artifact of Command. What's that, you ask? Well, that brings us on to what are artifacts? Well, artifacts are game-changing effects that can be applied before starting a run. They can be very useful. There's a few, but this video is already a bit listy, so I'll explain only the 2 most useful ones. There's the Artifact of Command, which lets you pick the item you get from an item drop. The only random nature then is the tier of said item. And then the Artifact of Sacrifice. Chests no longer spawn, but enemies have a chance to drop items on death. Works really, really well with Command. Now, why are you doing all of this? Why are you going about as a survivor and killing all of these things? Well, there's all sorts of lore reasons that you can find by looking into the item descriptions. It's all very clear. Yeah, who am I kidding? You do this because it's fun as hell. This game goes very well with a couple friends, and when you've been going for a long time and are absolutely stacked with items, then it's just an absolute wild ride to play. Now that's all from me. Please remember to like and subscribe before you go, and maybe hit that notification bell. It really does help the channel. If you want, you can join my Discord as well. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and bye. Guillotine. 19. And a 20. And a died. Oh, at least I got the 20 bombs though.